This video is going to be two parts. This first installment will be showing you how to get into the Strong Cave to the end where the artifact is, and the second one obviously will be how to exit. Now, I didn't have quite enough time to experiment with the scuba gear, but I do know that you do benefit from the thermal insulation by wearing scuba gear when you're not in water. I just don't know if the pants work or if you have to try one of the other pieces, but I do know that you can use them, which if you're scared of dying and losing your shit, then scuba gear is much cheaper, much easier to come by than good high quality fur. So the orbit camera, you're checking for Purlovia as you come in, and right away you want to deploy in the entry. Once you pass this choke point, your Megalania, here we go climbing. So if you push L2, it will activate the grippers, blubber, whatever you want to call it, and the food that you want to bring with is rare flowers. Now, this is Ark, people, so nothing ever has to make sense. Just like wearing only the gas mask will prevent the Arthroplura, the centipede bitches, from destroying your gas mask when they spit on you or get their blood on you. I don't know how it works. It's Ark logic. It just is what it is. But the items you see equipped in my belt, my inventory items, the belt slots, that's all you need coming into the cave. You saw what was in my inventory, what I have equipped, and obviously you will need, if you're gonna make this worth your while, bring an otter and have a decent amount of stat points put into melee. But when you go into first person mode like this, if you didn't know, helpful tip, you can actually maneuver and turn backwards no matter what tame you're on. So if you equip a weapon or a tool and enter first person like this while you're riding any mount, you can back up and turn at the same time. So that's why you have the pickaxe or anything that will bring you into that first person point of view while you're on the saddle. Now, I do apologize if things get a little raw, because this is a one-take video. I will not be editing, cutting, copy pasting, moving, whatever, reorganizing. It's just a one-time through, single recording, and I will be giving you snippets of information as we go. But like I was saying, with the rare flowers and Ark not needing to make sense, eating rare flowers will force the buried Purlovia to launch, and Ark logic would have it that when you're under the rare flower buff, they will launch at you, but they will never ever make contact, meaning they can't knock you off, they can't do damage, they can't stun you, nothing. So yeah, and just to set the record straight, this is the bare minimum that you need to do the hardest cave on the island, arguably one of the hardest caves in all of Ark. And there's no super breeding whatsoever that needs to take place in order for you to complete this. You don't need to bring in Yetis, you don't need to bring in an entire fucking tribe, you don't need to bring Thyla, which, I mean, I don't know why you would, but, and you definitely don't need to super breed a fucking Baryonyx to kill everything. You just need a good old Megalania with decent amount of stamina, Stamina is going to be your primary focus when you're leveling it up, but you also want health just for the 2 choke points that are in this cave, where there aren't very many options as far as avoiding having to engage at some point. But that's why you bring the Shoddy Bobati, Pump My Manati Luchigati Bugatti. Everyone likes to say that word, I don't know why, but I figured I'd throw that in there. My Bugatti Shoddy. So yeah, and about 100 shells. I would bring more, but like I said, I'm trying to give you people the bare minimum of what you will need. Bare minimum. Meaning, making this as efficient as possible without turning it into rocket science, without turning it into a fucking Jurassic Park embryo breeding fucking DNA frog to super baryonyx fucking import Dino Nichus from fucking map X, Y, and Z. This is just straightforward what the island has at its disposal, what you need in order to complete it. And I hate to break it to you, but if you're trying to do the strong cave without having done caves that the Megalania resides in, you're doing things backwards. So here's the first choke point. This one can be forgiving, it can be unforgiving, depending on what is tucked away in here. Now, Purlovia aren't the things you need to worry about. It's going to be the bears and the yetis. Now, side note, I refer to the Yutyrannus as the yetis. You know why? Because this is the only fucking place in all of Ark that yetis live. This is the only place they exist. And if you're gonna get all fucking butthurt about, why don't you call it a Yuti? It's a Yuti. No. Get the fuck out of here. It's a Yeti. Okay? I don't care if they just fucking grew a couple inches on the Gigantopithecus, stuck it in an ice cave and said, this is now a Yeti. No. When anyone says Yeti, who's got a Yeti? Who? If you hear Yeti going around, they're talking about a fucking Yutyrannus. Okay? That's for all the fucking kindergartners out there. Why would you bring a Yeti into a boss fight? You can't even tame a Yeti, dude. They're only in the ice cave. Fucking retards. But anyways, I digress. So with this first tunnel, you get as far in as you can, you lure things out, you dump them into the water, rinse and repeat. Now this can go smoothly, it can happen really fast, or it can take some time. But if you're doing the strong cave, I'm here to tell you, you've got time on your hands. Because I don't care how you go about successfully completing this, if you don't do the Megalania and bide your time with these choke points, then guess what? You've probably wasted 100-fold times more time wasted super breeding a fucking cave dino to come in here and wreck shit. I don't care who the fuck you are, what your name is, what your occupation is, how old you are, how good at Ark you think you are. If it only takes me, I would even say, let's say 5 hours to do this cave with a Megalania, I will take that every single time over trying to super breed a fucking cave dino. And you can take that to the bank. Because if you have an otter and you want to play it safe, like I said, this video is bare minimum, people. Bare minimum. 1 otter, 1 cryopod, 1 Megalania, 1 saddle, 1 shoddy, yada yada yada. But if you wanted to bring a backup otter in another cryo, in case this one dies or whatever the case, guess what? You can fucking carry out as many artifacts as you want for as many 8-minute time periods you want to stay in the cave. In this venture, I come away, I think, with 8. So I essentially stay in there for an hour and 10-15 minutes, give or take, because the first artifact comes back in 30 seconds, and then it's, I think, 8 to 9 minutes after that. But yeah, fucking 8 artifacts for altogether. It takes me, I think, an hour and a half on this run. And yeah, I do have a journeyman shotgun, but you can do the engram shotgun, base damage, just bring more shells. And there will be, because you will have to use the shotgun for the last tunnel, because it's always blocked. Bears are always in there, they always get stuck on each other, and that was a perfect point of view for the Purlovia not being able to do damage, stun you, or knock you, anything like that. It just, the rare flower buff just pulls them out of the ground, and nothing else happens. So, a couple things to note. 180 seconds is the maximum buff that you can have for the rare flowers, so you just got to keep an eye on that timer. Bring enough rare flowers. Like I said, play it safe. If you need to play it safe, bare minimum, just bring a full stack. That should be just enough to suffice. But another thing you want to be mindful of is buried Purlovia that have sprung free out of the ground will spontaneously continue to launch. So even though they're out of the ground now, like I said, Arc Logic, people, for whatever reason, since it hasn't registered that it's fucked up your life, they will periodically just re-jump even though they're out of the ground. So if you think you're up high and you're safe and you want to, you know, regain stamina or something, like, play it ultra safe and come up into one of these little areas here that nothing can get to. Push L2 so that your Megalania detaches, regain stamina, and keep on keeping on. But general rule of thumb for the Strong Cave, if you've never been or you're still unsure of the layout, I mean, I know people who have been in this cave dozens of times and their directional compass is so fucked that they still don't know where the hell they are in the cave. And no matter how many times you tell them how simple it is, they still get fucking lost, and they're like, I can't go in that cave without a baryonyx because I have to kill everything in order to understand where I am. But general rule of thumb for this cave, when you come in from the entrance, you hug the left wall. Every path that you take coming in to the Strong Cave to get to the artifact is a left. You go to the left to go into the tunnel. You take a left at the first tunnel. You hug the, obviously, in that room with water. If you stay to the left, you'll eventually get all the way through, but it's just one long hallway, so you just keep going. And again, here, you stay to the left. Just keep on fucking running around along the left-hand side to get to the artifact, and obviously the reverse for when you're coming out. So if you're leaving the Strong Cave, you stay to the right. You always go right. If there's a tunnel on your left, don't fucking go through it, because you're trying to leave the cave, and leaving takes place on the right-hand side. I'm not sure I can dumb that down anymore, but if need be, maybe somebody can do so, but not me. Yeah, don't underestimate the Megalania's flexibility. I mean, there's points in here, I'm not sure if we've already passed it, because I'm halfway paying attention, where you can literally climb around a single crystal node that's sticking up out of the ground. It's I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's sketchy because you're like, am I gonna detach or is it gonna keep hanging on? Is Ark gonna fuck me? But, yeah, you'd be surprised how efficient the Megalania's ability is, and that's honestly one thing the developers did surprisingly well, is it's not very buggy. It's almost too good, but I don't want to regret saying that, so. And obviously for Ark Ascended, hey, don't get me started, but the water doesn't damage you in the cave on Ark Ascended, so by all means, come in, have a beach pool party, bring all your friends, bring all their fucking super bred baryonyx, and have yourselves a good old fashioned fucking strong cave orgy for all I care. But in Survival Evolved, the water does damage you, and where I'm going with this is bringing a water source, because you might thirst to death. It's a possibility, but if push comes to shove, since the rare flowers act as food, you can put your character in the water for a little bit, get your hydration filled, take the little bit of damage that it's going to do to you, and be on your merry way. But, yeah, Ark Survival Ascended, man. I don't know how fucking lazy you can be with that game. I mean, so you would think, okay, people would refer to it as Ark Ascended. No, you know what people call it? ASA. ASA, you know what ASA stands for? Adults Who Sex Adolescents. That's what ASA stands for, because if you're playing that game, chances are 8 out of the other 10 people that are in the same lobby with you are in fucking kindergarten. Okay, that game is so dumbed down, so handicapped, so easy. It's tailored to such an elementary mental bandwidth. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, such an easy fucking game. And yeah, you're fondling little kids if you play in that game and think you're hot shit. You know what? You know what Ark Survival Evolved would be called? ACE. You know what that stands for? Adults Who Sex Each Other. Hey, there you go. Illegal, consensual, sexual involvement with another adult. But I digress, because people say SE for Scorched Earth, and then it's like, are you talking about Survival Evolved? Are you fucking retarded? Can you just spell things out? Can you just say Scorched? Like, why does everything have to be fucking abbreviated in this goddamn game? And then everyone is making up their own fucking rules on what to call shit. Like, I call the Uties the Yeti. That's my own fucking rule. I call Basilosaurus Basils, not Bazies. They're not fucking babies. But yeah, sorry, I got stuck on a rant there, but this is the other choke point. And like I said, there's only 2, but this one is the most problematic, partly because while the Megalania is excellent for its ability to cling to things, shooting off of the saddle while you're inverted is not so user-friendly. I don't know why, but I don't even know if you run the risk of being able to injure your Megalania, but getting the perfect window so that your arrows or your bullets can make it through can be challenging at times. But this tunnel, this last little hallway here, is always fucking blocked by some gigantic fucking bear. And yeah, so see how dumb they are? Like, any other time these fuckers would be charging me, but they're like, oh no, he's got a crossbow, he's gonna kill me, he's gonna kill me with the crossbow. Oh, he's on the ceiling, he's on the ceiling. But the strategy here is when you can lure things, just bring them over to the water, dump them in, and keep clinging to the ceiling, because it's pretty high here, so nothing can actually hit you. But this is where the shoddy is absolutely necessary, because you're going to have to clear out something from this last tunnel. Just be mindful of your countdown timer for your rare flower buff. And yeah, you see firsthand how it's like I'm literally aiming above my head, and for some reason the shells just aren't making it through. But patience is virtue. Or wait, is that what they say? Patience is... yeah, patience is virtue. So we'll just mosey on over and get him in with the rest of the pool party. Man, Megalania. One of the many overlooked, underutilized, underappreciated, underestimated tames in Ark. I mean, I swear I could count on 2 hands every tame that people have. I swear to God, it's always the same fucking 10. Thyla, Karkar, Giga, Rex, Baryonyx, RG. Where am I at? Am I at like 6 or some shit like that? Fucking Mammoth. Gotta have the Mammoth. What else? What else? Oh, Sarko. Mosasaur. Yeah. Let's get some mimosas, bro. Let's get the mimosas going, Mo. Sarko, Mimosa. I got 2 left. Let's see. Maybe a PT? Oh, no, fuck that. Not PT. The fucking bug. The Rhyhornitha. Rhyhornitha. How the fuck you pronounce it? It's the fucking grasshopper looking thing. And the last one, we'll say it's a toss-up. People can have whatever they want for number 10. I won't play God all 100%. I'll leave the last 10%. But as you can see, we have made it successfully. All limbs intact, all digits intact, and wouldn't you believe it, in the last room, there's yet another watering hole that you can just dump everything into. That's the side bonus of having the rare flower buff, is things will try to chase you all over the room, and since you're on the ceiling, you can lead them wherever you want to go. Now, this is, sometimes there are buried Purlovia here, so don't get ahead of yourself. The best thing to do, if you've made it here, you want to play it safe, put some sleeping bags down in that upper room that you saw me go into, and then you can test the waters as far as where Purlovia are. Make sure everything's on passive. You don't want your otter jumping in with a bunch of super polar bears. Fucking level 600 or whatever they get up to. Oh shit. I forgot to push L2. Back the truck up. Back up. Come on. Yeah, you see that? Even with errors in the mix. Man, am I good or what? I provide some fucking clean, crisp, raw content. Man. Credit where credit is due, am I right? Wow, we don't need to see that. So yeah, as we near the end of the video, if your Megalania does need meat, for whatever reason, you can position yourself in such a way that you're still out of reach. of whatever's floating down below, and you can gobble them up with your Megalania. Just pay attention to your stamina so you don't fall off of your holding spot. And I guess to recap, you need rare flowers, you need a crossbow. I say the crossbow because something ranged to get things out from a distance, because you don't want to go right up to them with the shotgun and waste a bunch of shotgun shells. You need them right up close because the Megalania is tricky to get the hitbox to register. The spyglass is just whatever. They're cheap. It will tell you what level things are. If you're looking at a Yeti or a Gigantopithecus, if you're looking at a polar bear or a dire bear, that's one thing that people don't ever fucking say. Oh, you're talking about a polar bear or a dire bear? I'm sorry, you're gonna have to clarify. If you say bear, I don't know what you're talking about. But, yeah. Artifact is strong, you pick the first one, 30 seconds goes by, second one comes up, and then 8 to 9 minutes in between, and you're just gonna need to position yourself inside the room so that it can respawn. But, getting back to the summary, you can bring a torch. You need some sort of a melee weapon that will bring you into first person. I prefer the pickaxe, just because I'm special like that, I guess, I don't know. But, so that you can turn as you're backing up. And the shotgun with the shells, an otter, a nice fur piece, and then you can fill in with scuba gear after that for the hypothermia. But that's the first video.